You're all right. Whew, that was lit. We're gonna conclude on this with quick tarot reading. We're gonna do the past, present, and future. And then we probably might do a pick a card reading, but stay tuned next week. We're going to do the tarot reading on Tuesday and then pick a card reading on Thursday. By the way, the moon is in Sagittarius now. So you're going to be seeing visual evidence and understanding of these new techniques you have activated and of this process of synchronization of your development, of your growth. You're going to understand what you're seeing. We're going to direct it through Capricorn. Okay. So the underlying theme we have is Four of Wands. Not bad. Venus and Aries. Yeah, this is pretty dope. So normally heavy goot, I like to do the major arcana, but I just, Virgo season, let's get literal. If it was a major arcana, we usually take that into account, but the Four of Wands is beautiful. So this is definitely talking about, of course, a sanctuary-like space. This is definitely speaking of strengthening your connection with your home and community. This is like people coming over your place because it's cool there. They have a festive time. This is also serendipitous. This usually is going to be a card of moving in with somebody as well, for any of you who this applies to romantically. But this is the underlying theme that we have for this tune-up, the energy that, of course, through this meditational practice, relative to Virgo season's transit and direction and nature, this is the theme. This is the underlying theme. So yeah, this is pretty festive, guys. I think you're gonna have a lot to look forward to relative to how you can make your present moment and current space a positive place for people to feel at home in. But I think you can look forward to serendipitous news. Like, even though I'm telling you it's going to be good, it's still, you're still going to be pretty excited. I think there are people who want to bring you down to their level of inferiority because they have complexes that kind of trigger that. And you're not even phased, dude. You're just like totally like buzzing. Like you're tapped more into the truth of everything you've been, building and working towards. Okay. I'm confused because this is the first time you actually came on the video. Yeah. For those of you who are new for the tune-ups, I basically do the tune-up behind the actual meditation so that you're not distracted by what I'm doing and you can just meditate, go deep within. And then after, I kind of come on and I do the tarot. So yeah, the reason why you saw music for a half hour is because I was behind the screen facilitating the tune-up. The first part of the tune-up is literally just for you to meditate and to, tap in to your own inner circuit cycle. The prompts on the bottom are the stages of the meditation. So when you see, like, I'm going from crown to root to crown, that's me actually doing the tune-up. And then after I'll come through. So yeah, that being said, the past card we have is the Magician. So you, of course, have demonstrated your resourcefulness. I see the Four of Wands as a positive card. Isn't Venus and Aries in the fall are debilitated? Great question, Christopher Brown. Debilitations and falls, exaltations and dignities are not entirely embraced by all astrologers as even being like legit. But planet being in its fall and a planet in its debilitation in and of itself is not a bad thing. In and of itself is not negative. We associate negative aspects and we associate negative facets as being bad. So that's why I like that question. Venus in Aries is debilitated. but it's an amazing Venus placement, and the Four of Wands is very positive as a card. All right, so yeah, great question though, because it's easy to conflate the two. And we do have the Magician, so you have everything you need. This is where you're coming forward from. You have developed a very magical mindset. This mindset is allowing your thoughts to become things. And I like that this is where we're coming from, especially with now we have the Knight of Swords really rushing to the right conclusion with purity and integrity. Now, if we do this in order, it doesn't look like the Knight is running towards the Magician, almost like people are coming through to see what you can do. But I see this more so as you applying this mindset, and you could even see the horse looking up at the rider, just, you know, just very determined, ready to go forward. But be mindful. This does kind of look like the Knight wants smoke. So I we'll see how that works. And then the outcome we have here is the Hermit, Virgo. So this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is magic mastery. Ending the season off with full on mastery, full on like understanding of your inner light and your word, your advice, your guidance, your expertise, your mastery. The Hermit is very pivotal relative to not depending on insight outside of yourself or just authority outside of yourself in order to get by. You know your way around by yourself. You have enough wisdom, you have enough experience, and taking into account new magical abilities, techniques, and resourcefulness, skills, talents, you're coming into a much more somber understanding and realization. It's like a lot of you want to clear your space out because you don't necessarily want to be around others who are not on your level. I'm gonna keep it real. And the Knight of Swords is cool because you're not just fixed with it. You're taking it around. You're not shy on expressing these ideas, pushing this forward, which I think adds a lot more spice. It's not like a wand sense. So keep this in mind, because this is what we have for Virgo season, with the underlying theme, of course, being this Four of Wands. Okay. So that's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. It's actually pretty cool. I'm messing with that. And let's close this out with a pick a card reading. We'll do 3 piles with 2 cards each. What is the lesson behind the new techniques or abilities or habits you're activating and really developing? And then what's going to be the outcome? It's a little sneak peek until the actual pick a card, because I'm doing all majors for sure. I really like the all majors pick a card reading, but let's see what major and minor is. We'll do like a one with majors and minors. We got the Judgment. So yeah, especially with the influence of Pluto and Aquarius, you are awakening. You are bringing to the forefront of your consciousness unconscious competence, unconscious feelings, unconscious wounds, deep revelations. Now there's a deeper element of judgment here too. You are indirectly judging others who refuse to see you, right? Like there are people who refuse to see you as you are. And every step that you are taking in integrity of that is a judgment to these people, because now they're living in denial. Does that make sense? And this is very important, because it's not gonna feel like, oh, I judge thee. You have people here who think that your true self is fake, who think that what you actually do isn't real, who use vocabulary, have an attitude, you know what I mean? Like definitely engaged in themselves in a way that diminishes what you're actually doing, and outright is in denial of who you actually are. And now their inability to really accept that and to acknowledge it as a real thing now is having them live a lie by the active real-time demonstration of who you are and what you do. So they can't necessarily be saying that what you are isn't true because you're demonstrating it. You have third party validation from others who are gaining from you being that. So they are, with their own mouth, living a lie. And that's what you're going to be triggering in people who align with you and people who are against you. Real recognizes real. So keep that in mind, because judgment is bringing you through the moon in Aquarius a deeper understanding of these dynamics. Pile 1, 2, 3, baby. Let's go. So if you picked pile 1, the supernatural nature and lesson behind these techniques that we're activating. Oh wow, it's getting darker. It's getting dark. Oh, you heard me? I'll be back. Might as well, man. All right. We got the 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups, of course, is interesting as a lesson because I think for you, Pawan, you're going. I don't want to just see this as a test, but this is about escapism. So it's like, this could be like being tested with distractions to see if you're going to commit to what you have to do. But this also can represent creative visualization and a sense of like brainstorming visually that and also 7 of Cups can come if you're working online, right? While not really falling for fool's gold or entertaining all these different options. The 7 of Cups will usually come when there's so many different options, and it might be better to just like, not entertain most, if not all of them. But yeah, whether this is escapism for you, whether this is just visualization and brainstorming, this is definitely going to have you develop discernment through how the development of your abilities and habits either, of course, what's the word? Enables, you to fall for these distractions or for you to maneuver through them. And the outcome that we have here is the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is this creative boost. Right now, the moon is in Sagittarius, and it almost looks like this Knight could be coming through the fog, right? So it's like seeing through the fog enables you to really gain this message of passion. If this isn't a Knight itself, that may almost, for some of you, be like a fantasy. Right? There's many different interpretations we can look through here, seeing through the fog in order to see this. But I kind of see this as wading through distractions to maintain your energy and creative passion. All right. So you stay inspired amongst other things. All right. So pile 2, what we have for you is the 10 of Cups. So it looks like for you, the lesson you're coming in through here is emotional fulfillment, which is actually crazy to follow up with this right here. Right, this could be what this person is dreaming of, right? Not that it has to cross piles, but damn, pile 2, emotional fulfillment, emotional climax. This is you tapping into this through gratefulness, all right, and gratitude rather. So yeah, I think that's really dope. Some of you are really activating this quality of being able to fully reap this sense of just emotional bliss, completion, and fulfillment. And the outcome we have here is the Queen of Cups. So I like how so far each cup card is connected with the court card, right? This Queen of Cups is our entrance into Libra, and it's representing the, of course, intellectual discipline, honesty, and focus. As you can see, she is not playing around. She's willing to not only chop off heads, but of course, really forego distractions to focus on independent projects and really what needs to be facilitated. So it's interesting. It's like the Knight might kind of be playing with like certain different possibilities, right? But the Queen of Swords is about her business. It looks like she'll chop anyone's head off if they mess with her family right here. But yeah, that's interesting. Now, for some of you, If you pick pile 2, this could be reaching fulfillment with this Queen of Swords, or this could be you as this Queen of Swords experiencing fulfillment, 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 fulfillment. Wow, wow. All right, so the pile 3 lesson for these techniques and abilities, we got the 6 of Pentacles. This is a card of philanthropy. So what you want to get into the habit of doing is, any extra money, give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Give it away to who may need it. Give it to whatever. Open up this sense of financial flow, because you're going to have space to receive money from others. And you're also going to be able to give out that money, kind of like a philanthropist who does fundraisers, who can kind of balance the scales. So pile 3, you're going to come into a lot more financial flow, and this can serve to balance your finances as well, and put you in a position to get what you're owed, and to also not be afraid to ask for help if you might need some financial assistance. And we do have the 3 of Wands, so the outcome of this is going to put you in a position to make a lot more creative long-term and short-term plans, seeing your ships come in, Moon in Taurus, Sun in Aries. I think that's beautiful. Both are in its exaltation, which actually I was not expecting. But yeah, there we go. So that's what we got for this cosmic energy tune-up. I do get the sense of this evil eye trying to really affect you, but it's just bouncing off of you. They can't even really touch you. You know. I just see like this distraughtness, like people trying to play cool, but like because they can't manipulate you, they're mad tight. Specifically that word. Ooh, I didn't even, these cards were still in the deck. Specifically mad tight. Okay, these cards were still in the deck. I hate doing a tarot reading without the full deck. But these cards were still in the deck, and this gives me a message. Very quickly, you're going to come into even more stability and authority, but you're not going to tell people of this major come up. And this is happening very rapidly, but you seem to be on the hush and hush of this. So I just thought I wanted to share. I just wanted to share that. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like it. So yeah. All right. Got they panties in. You guys stay blessed. I'm gonna see you guys next week. This was a very cool week. I appreciate you guys. Got heard. Next week we'll do some tarot. Whew. And you could look forward to whatever we got coming out next week as well. All right. Until next time.